Tutti ragazzi, sono questo è il Pietro in questo nuovo video. Oggi siamo qui tornati su Back to the Future the Game. Nello scorso episodio abbiamo scoperto il segreto di Danny, che ci ha detto che lui lavora per Kid Tannen. Però si sente male con se stesso a farlo, ma per lui è l'unico modo per fare soldi. Beh, poverino, guardatelo in faccia. Poi abbiamo pure visto il muro del... non mi ricordo il nome, il muro di qualcosa, dove vedete da appende i disegni di tutta la gente che ammazza. C'è pure un quadro vuoto
The
dall'altro.
shrew didn't burrow deep enough.
Povero toporagno. Vabbè, allora dobbiamo uscire fuori, perché appunto abbiamo bisogno di far credere Danny, in modo che lui dica no, ciò che ho fatto è sbagliato. Io devo riuscire a fermare Kid Tannen, non starci appresso. E l'unico modo è prendere la canzone di Edna, che si intitola e parla proprio di prendersi cura di se stesso, ed è ciò che Danny deve fare. Quindi andiamo da Edna.
Hey,
Che
nice
c'è?
suit. Where'd you get it? Costume shop at the mall. I had it custom made. Yeah? Quality material. Who are you? Where you from? The name's Sonny Crockett.
Sonny Crockett, sempre. Sono uno straniero.
Nobody. I mean, you don't know me. I come from a very different place.
Come on, what's the dope? Spill it, or I'll...
Go easy, kid. From the cut of the suit, I'm thinking he might be with the Valenti gang.
Is that
Valenti? Sì, proprio valenti sono, guarda.
Yes?
Prove it. You ain't leaving till you show me some bona fides.
Valenti. Che vuoi che c'osso da? Aspettate. La pistola? La pistola, la cosa. Questa qui. Ecco qui, si vedete la scritta sopra, mi ricordavo bene. To your family from mine. Vabbè, non riesco a leggere bene. JJ Valenti. Forse è questo, cioè. Lo stesso Valenti. Proviamo a dargliela.
I've got a little something here that might convince you.
Oh, calma.
Even
Non
blink.
vogliamo sparare a nessuno.
It's not a real gun. It's not a real gun, I swear. It's a gift from Don Valenti. See?
To your family from mine, in gratitude for your continued service, J.J. Valenti. Looks like little Sonny Crockett here really is with the Sacramento boys. You got stones, Pee-wee. I like that. Have yourself a drink on the house. Matches, put down your gun. You look like a moron.
Povero Matches, che ogni volta deve essere sempre ripreso per qualcosa. Vabbè, usciamo allora. Arthur.
Hey, Artie. He's back.
Ok. Andiamo da Edna perché è ciò che ci interessa al momento. Lunghi sti caricamenti, Ah, perché deve caricare una cutscene, ok. Majestic, c'è Doc là nell'hotel, se chiamalo così. Ok, vabbè, andiamo da Edna allora. Devo farci dare la sua canzone. Edna.
Hey, Edna.
Mr. Crockett, what can I do for you?
Ho una storia, che cosa sta facendo?
What are you doing out here in the middle of the night?
Parliamo un po' di cose
Saving
prima.
people from alcohol, vice, and disorder. And also keeping a lookout for hot stories. You'd be surprised how much news breaks on this corner.
Ok. Ho una storia per lei.
Hey, I got a hot lead for you.
Oh, what is it?
Carl Sagan ha visto in città?
I
Non lo
can't
so.
tell her that. It could get him in trouble.
Non lo so.
I got a hot lead for you.
Oh, what is it?
Altro McFly è
Can't tell her
tornato.
that. It could get him in trouble.
Vabbè, non possiamo di niente allora. Di qual è il suo rapporto
What
con i
have you got
cani?
against dogs anyway?
They're smelly, rude, completely unable to take care of themselves, and frankly, they're not very bright. If I had my druthers, dogs would be banned from public places.
Harsh.
It's a harsh world, Mr. Crockett.
Riguardo al piromane del
Whatever happened with
bar.
that speakeasy arsonist?
I was about to ask you the same question.
Me?
Don't play coy with me. I may not have any journalistically acceptable proof, but I know you had a hand in Carl Sagan's daring escape from the authorities.
Va bene. Mi parli di
You wouldn't
Trixie.
happen to know anything about Trixie Trotter, would you?
Kid Tannen's latest conquest? Well, she claims to be a lounge singer from Seattle, but my sources in Washington have never heard of her. I mean, honestly, Trixie Trotter, what kind of name is that?
In effetti. Mi parli di
You know anything about
Parker.
Officer Danny Parker?
Parker? Just another soul lost to the twin vices of booze and despair. I've asked him to tell me his story for my column, sort of a cautionary tale, but he's never in the mood to talk to me.
Ok. Mi parli di Tannen.
What's Kid Tannen been up to for the last 2 months?
Didn't you hear? It was in all the papers.
I've been, traveling.
Well, the feds were all set to arrest Tannen on tax evasion charges. Seems they'd gotten Tannen's books from his accountant.
I heard something about that, yeah.
Well, the accountant disappeared, unsurprisingly, but the feds still thought they had a case. After all, they still had the books, right?
Right.
Wrong. The day before the trial, the books up and vanished right out of the court's evidence locker.
No.
Lots of fingers were pointed, but honestly, the whole town's so corrupt that it could have been anyone. Court clerks, cops, janitors.
Ok, cosa c'è fra lei ed
What's
Emmett?
going on with you and Emmett? The last time I saw you, you seemed to be kinda interested in him.
That was before I belatedly realized that his agreement to host my Stay Sober Society was a clever ruse to ferry barrels of hooch to his so-called laboratory.
Sorry
Vabbè.
about that.
Now his very presence fills me with an irrepressible urge to pick at his philosophical and intellectual foundations with every tool in my vocabulary.
So you're not dating?
Dating? The mere thought of romantic involvement with that undisciplined techno-anarchist is preposterous.
Good.
Ok, l'ultima cosa che ci rimane è dire bella canzone.
What was that song you were singing earlier?
Do you like it? I wrote it myself. It really gets the toes tapping at the Stay Sober Society meetings. Although I suppose that could be the Shakes. Would you like to hear it
Vabbè.
again?
Sì, sì.
Sure.
È l'unico
I
modo
knew
di farci
if I
dare il
waited
testo,
long enough,
magari.
somebody would request it. You say you've lost your self-respect, but you should care. It's not too late to redirect and start to care.
Secondo me Trixie la canterebbe meglio.
Your time to rise up from the sewer, wash off all that foul manure. Show the world you care. You should care. You should care what people think of you. Of goals that you could name, reclaiming your good name is what you ought to do. You should care. You should care. If your reputation is in disrepair, it's not going to hurt you to reclaim your virtue, for you should care.
Il testo è buono, la canzone è
You
buona,
really think so?
ma non è buona la
It's,
cantante.
got a good hook to it.
One needs a good hook if one is fishing for souls.
Beh, direi portiamola a Trixie, magari canterebbe meglio. Perché il testo è buono per Parker, sicuramente, perché parla appunto di stabilisci il tuo nome e devi avere cura di te. Quindi
Do you think I
prendiamoci
could
una
have a
copia.
copy of your You Should Care lyrics? I've got a club of my own that could really use some inspiring.
Sure. Let me just get a page out of the hymnal. There you are.
Hey, thanks.
Grazie
Sì.
e ciao.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Voglio mandare pure da Doc, magari, giusto per... Perché prima, se ci ha fatto partire la cutscene facendoci vedere che lui sta lì, ci sarà un motivo, forse ha qualcosa da dirci. Allora, eccolo qui, ingresso del dormitorio. Salve.
Hey, Doc. How's the room?
It's a little cleaner than I would have imagined for a Depression-era flophouse. How are
Vabbè.
your investigations going?
Ho visto Arthur.
I
Ok.
saw him.
Who?
My grandpa. On a streetcar for just a second. Doc, we gotta find him.
Why?
Trixie thinks she's got something that could put Kid away, but
Eh.
he's the only one who can tell her for sure. I guess he's kind of her tutor or something.
Ci serve
Ah,
Arthur,
so
altrimenti
that's the
non ce lo
case.
dirà mai.
When your grandfather disappeared from Hill Valley for 2 months, the bond between him and Miss Trotter was severed, eventually leading to a timeline in which Trixie lost the nerve to betray Tannen.
Yeah?
We've got to find your grandfather.
L'hai visto?
Any sign of Artie?
Haven't spotted him yet.
Beh, direi stiamo parlando da 2 secondi. Parker, Edna, i guai e Jennifer è condannata. Sì, in effetti sì, perché se poi non si sposa con la moglie, poi non fa... Cioè, perché è il nonno di Jennifer Parker, quindi...
Doc, Parker's in worse shape than we
Jennifer
thought.
è la
And
fidanzata di
Scribner's life
Marty
so
nel
bad, he's
film.
been dumped by Jennifer's future grandmother.
Ah,
I know.
Marty, it's more important than ever that you get Officer Parker back on his destined path. If Jennifer never exists, then I'll never take you to 2015 to save your kids. Then old Biff will never...
Paradox City, got it.
Dopo era DeLorean?
Where'd you park the DeLorean?
I hid it in a DeSoto lot. Nobody's buying cars these days, so it should be safe in there.
Ok, riguardo chi... Ah, riguardo il pilone del bar clandestino, è
Hey,
passata un'altra
who
cosa.
did burn down Tannen's original speakeasy anyway?
I still don't know. I'd really like to find out before we
Ah,
go
quindi non
home.
l'hai bruciato tu in realtà.
I never did get a straight answer about why he came back to 1931 in the first
In
place.
effetti sì, perché era venuto?
Personal. When this is over, I'll tell you all about it.
I'm gonna hold you to that, you know.
Perché allora una cosa personale?
Can you explain all this? I'm confused.
It's very simple. In the original timeline, Timeline A, the speakeasy arsonist was never caught, creating one of Hill Valley's enduring historical mysteries.
Okay.
When I traveled back to 1931, I created Timeline B, in which I was misidentified as the arsonist and subsequently killed by Kid Tannen's goons. Einstein came with me, and somehow he ended up in the DeLorean when its failsafe mechanism triggered, sending it back to 1986.
Which is where I came in.
Precisely. You traveled back to June 14th, 1931, creating Timeline C, a world in which Carl Sagan wasn't rubbed out by Kid Tannen, but Arthur McFly was served with a subpoena.
And shot by Kid Tannen's goons.
Yes, so you jumped back in time 6 hours, creating Timeline D, saving your grandfather's life, but somehow preventing Kid Tannen from meeting his date with justice.
Which is why the Tannens were so powerful when we jumped back to 86.
So now we've returned to August of 1931, creating Timeline E, in which, fingers crossed, we'll send Tannen to prison where he belongs. Got it?
Sure.
Good.
Più o meno
One
sì.
question.
What?
Can you explain all this? I'm confused.
Capitoliamo dice la
still a
stessa
little
roba.
Don't worry about temporal mechanics. Just
Okay.
focus on Miss Trotter and Officer Parker.
Ok, riguardo Kid
Why are
Tannen.
Tannens always such jerks anyway?
Ah, perfetto.
It's hard to say. Rogue Neanderthal genes in their DNA, perhaps.
Ok, possiamo
Okay,
andare.
I better get back to fixing history.
Be careful, Marty.
Adesso direi che possiamo tornare nel bar. E la canzone l'abbiamo, quindi perfetto. Direi che questo video è anche tutto. Nel prossimo episodio andremo a mettere la canzone nel bar, così che il nostro carissimo Danny capisce che ciò che sta facendo è sbagliato. O meglio, già l'ha capito, ma deve avere il coraggio di rimettersi in piedi. E nel prossimo video è tutto. Ci vediamo al prossimo video. Ciao!